warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters, here today with you right on time. A little bit late, a few minutes. No, we're on time. Of course, my producer is giving me the thumbs up. So, how is everybody this morning? I hope you are bright. Are you looking good? Are you smiling? If you're not, then now is the time to start smiling because you'll be listening to me for the next hour and a half in between some of the breaks. We are on 9:10 a.m. every day. My producer tells me that 9:10 every day is when we start the show. Well, officially, it's 9 a.m., but what happens is in the morning they put some ads on or a song or two, and then we start at 9:10. That's what happens here every day. So we've got a wonderful day today. I look out my window here and it's almost like I'm looking at the seaside here. Nice blue sky. That's what I like to see. It sets the day off very well indeed. So brothers and sisters, how are you this morning? Are you driving to work? Have you reached work? Where are you right this minute? News? Are we done with the news this morning? There you go, sir. My producer has explained to me. After the news, we start at 9:10 each morning. So we were just talking about the wonderful blue skies there. We've had a message in already that, yes, I'm driving to work, Brother Zed. That's good. That's good. I hope that you reached there very safe. Of course, last week we had a lot of rain, and then when you're driving along the road, it's very, people are under pressure, they are tense, and a lot of mistakes. And all of a sudden, the traffic increases while you're driving along. And this is one big problem that we all have to deal with. We have to have extra patience during this month of Ramadan. It's a time for us to reflect upon our own characters, how we can increase our patience, our sabr, right? You are listening to ZED on Ramadan special EAVA 102.5 FM. And the message is coming there. Brother Zed, why are you wearing glasses? Sunglasses. Of course, here in the studio, the sun is glaring at me. That's why I'm wearing them. That's why. See, me and my producer, he's saying that he wants me to get him a pair of glasses as well so that he can also be protected from the sunlight because he's falling apart. Me and him this morning, we're having a banter with sign language. That's how it works here in the studio. There's only two of us here. I walk in, I look at his face, he's half asleep, and I have to wake him up. And then I sit in my chair, and we're only got a 30-second start before we start our program. Unlike the BBC, where they have a crew, they have a producer, they have all the perks over there at the BBC that we don't have here, right? So maybe we ought to call them and ask them to help us out and let us have all their crew here to do a show with us here. The Breakfast Show with Zed. Right behind me is about 30 BBC staff, right? From the producer, from the animators and the media team and the graphic designers and the makeup team as well, and the whole crew that goes along with the BBC. So, I read there somewhere that the Trevor Noah show, they call The Daily Show, 40 people are involved in the show, 40 people just to produce 1 hour of The Daily Show. That is in the USA, but here, I don't know how many people there are at the BBC on the Asian Network show, but I would like to know very much. So if somebody at the BBC listening in can give us a call and let us know that how do we compare here with our minuscule shoestring budget. We don't even have the shoe, let alone the string here. That's how it is here in community radio. This is the real deal, brothers and sisters. You come here into our studio and you'll experience how it is here on Evington Road. Well, of course, Evington Road right now is looking very clean. But on the way up to the studio today, I was talking to the whole litter crew that work here for the city council, and they were telling me about the litter. Now, brothers and sisters, it's Ramadan. We don't want litter. We need to train ourselves to be mindful. Mindfulness is very important. Otherwise, you're fasting and you're not being mindful, then that is totally unacceptable. So we're going to talk about that later, because I'm going to share with you exactly what they were telling me, that of course they can't come on the radio due to the council regulations and speak to us about their grievances, but we have to transfer their grievances to you, convert their feelings, their grievances into real news, and the real news will then explain to you what is the problem. Why do we have 400 black bags just on the Evington Road and the neighboring streets every day? 400 black bags full of litter. So if you can multiply that throughout the city, all the main roads in Leicester, inner city, multiply all the litter that they collect, how many bags they collect, that is just in the city of Leicester. That is absolutely mind-boggling. And then multiply that by all the households every Tuesday, every Wednesday when collections are done. How much litter are we producing? So this is something that everybody needs to learn about, because when I was told 400 bags a day, that is just on Evington Road, that came indeed as a shock to me. So here, where a BBC studio has got all the team on the road, they do collect all this data. Here, we at Radio Ramadan FM, we have to go out ourselves, collect all the data, give you some real news, bring it back here to the studio, sit on the chair, and do the job as a presenter. So what we are talking about here is a minuscule shoestring budget. That's how it works, where the presenter, the producer, they're doing 10 jobs to get this show on the road, as they say, right? So imagine, brothers and sisters, I want you to think about that today. 400 black bags just collected on Evington Road and the neighboring streets on Evington Road. Of course, those brothers listening in from far away in another country will have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, because in their respective country, they don't have an Evington Road like we have in Leicester. But brother Naeem, who has just clicked in there right on the Facebook. So brother Naeem, you tell us what you think about this problem and what can we do to prevent this problem from escalating. If we can cut that down from 400 to 200, and we do this collectively with all the neighbors, all the shops, then we will have achieved a result. So this is very important. And one interesting story, he told me, he said out of one of the shops out of Evington Road, a lady came out, she took her receipt and she threw it on the floor. And he walked up to her and he said to her, "Why did you do that? Now I've got to pick it up. Why don't you put it in the bin?" It's as simple as that. And people shamelessly do acts like that, and it is indeed very sad. So for the litter warden had to go and tell them. In fact, now he was also telling me that there is a litter warden who's going to come out and physically speak to people. And of course, all of us here should be litter wardens. We should be mindful and we should work together, help each other, and we should tell them that, look, use the bin provided. That is what we have to do, right? So part of community development is also very, very important for all of us to work together as a team. So if all the shops that are open till late have a bin outside their premises, we wouldn't have this problem. Of course, there are bins everywhere, right? Sometimes, we wonder whether people even know how to use a bin. So if you have to train people how to use a bin, now that is a start. So where lies the fault? Where lies the fault? Now, this is just one of the problems in our society, right? So we got to do something all collectively together to fix this problem. Imagine when we keep talking about being mad, making a difference. How do we make a difference when people don't even adhere to a very, very simple task of putting your litter in a bin? Now, do I sound like I'm very mad this morning? Of course I am. I am absolutely not happy with people who throw litter at Evington Road or any road for that matter. So my producer is nodding his head because he also says that he's also mad. So we don't want to be mad like that. We want to be mad to make a difference. MAD. For all of you who are driving to work, please give me a call and tell me what you think when you get to work. What do you think about this particular rule? You would not be in your office and just throw paper around on the floor. You'd use the bin allocated to you by your boss, by your desk, and you'd put the litter in there. So we have quite a few people who are now connecting with us. They're waking up in the morning. Good morning, inshallah. You shall be as lively as me very shortly. There's a message here I'd like to read to all of you. Jazakallah khairun for talking about Evington Road, the place of Muslim traders and customers is the dirtiest road around. A few years ago, we reassembled a team to clean up the street, and one trader told us, "Stop cleaning. We pay the council tax to do that work." Subhanallah. I hope I have said that correctly as you wrote it. So this is the kind of attitudes we don't want. We should all be responsible for this. People who should litter should get £100 fine. You have £50 for me and £50 for the rest of you for trying to educate all of you on that. So let's put those texts back on, and I'm going to share all your grievances. Now, Miriam, I want you to connect us with all your database of 442 people up there so that everybody can listen in on this particular issue. This is the morning breakfast show on Ramadan special, EAVA FM 102.5 FM. Is anybody out there who can say that jingle better than me? Then bring it on, bring it on. Let's hear it. So if anyone says it's better than me, my producer is going to give him a gift of some description. Now, let me share some positive news with you, brothers and sisters. Something good I want to share with you. On Saturday, you will remember that we were talking about the majestic Quran. Well, I'm very, very pleased to tell you that 8 copies a brother had bought immediately, and another 6 copies another brother has come and bought them. So my producer is saying that today's voucher for somebody well deserving is a Strobella waffle pop. What is a Strobella waffle pop? Will somebody tell me what that is? I would like to know, right? What is a Strobella waffle pop? So if you know what a Strobella waffle pop is, then do let me know. This is a gift from our producer this morning, right? So if we find somebody who finds the best solution to sort this litter issue out, we must make a difference. We must not finish Ramadan without having to put together an initiative collectively with you and I, everybody involved here on Evington Road. If we collectively do something about this, we can solve a big problem here. So, and a message has just come in, get the traders to take responsibility. Of course, now we got to put some scheme in action as to how we're going to deal with this. Now, what I'm going to do, after this program, I'm going to connect with the head honcho. The head honcho is the litter warden in Leicester. Maybe we talk to the council, we tell him that, look, we want him here in the studio. Let's see how fast he's going to make an effort to come here in the studio, sit with me and discuss exactly what we are going to do about this problem. So somebody sent me a message, why are you calling this a breakfast show? We are fasting, we are doing suhoor. Well, let me tell you, the breakfast show is the best show in the whole wide world. Everywhere in radio, the morning show is always called the breakfast show, so that is the reason why it's called that. And there are many, many people outside of Leicester, England, local, national, global, who are listening in. And some of them may not be fasting, and they will be happy with that. So that's why we can't call it the Seri show, because Seri is done. That's why. And we can't call it the Iftar show because it's morning time. So morning is normally referred to breakfast. So we have a nod here from our producer as well. So you are listening to ZED on the breakfast show, morning breakfast show, Ramadan special, EAVA FM 102.5 FM. So my producer tells me that that is also qualifying for a one Strobella waffle pop. Strobella waffle pop, I'm keen to know what that exactly is. So if somebody can contact us from Brew and let us know. The Brew voucher, coffee and gelato, they're giving us kindly donated to us this voucher. And if you are going to be a recipient of this, if you come out with the best solution for litter. So one of the first suggestions that has come through is get the traders to take responsibility. Of course, this is the chap, I think I need him in the studio because he is a man of initiative who's at least come forward with one good idea, is get the traders to take responsibility. So we can do that by getting the litter warden here today. So as we are talking, we are also looking for the litter warden on the internet and connecting with him. This is the speed we work at here at Radio Ramadan Special. We don't mess about here. We just get on with it. We do the talk while you do the walking. That's what we do here, brothers and sisters. So if you have any brilliant ideas, then bring it on and let's fix this problem. So each session has to be a productive session whereby we deal with issues that come on the table. So we have any calls, then call us right away and we shall deal with them straight away. So if you want to call me here, discuss this problem, you're free to call me on 0116 212 9324, or you can even text us. If you are a little camera shy, you can text us on 07450 925 084. Look how fast some of you respond. Somebody is just send me a text. Due to GDPR laws, I cannot tell them your name, but he's saying, why do we have to be camera shy? We're not on TV. And I tell them, well, you know, I am on TV. When I'm on radio, I just pretend I'm on TV because people are watching on the Facebook. And, you know, when I connect with my audiences, like they're sitting right next to me, I'm in their lounge, and that's the way we do the radio here. We treat the radio as if it's a TV, and all is good, everybody's happy. That's the answer for that one. So we're going to make a map of all the bins in Evington Road and put on our website. That's what we're going to do, is make a map for you. This is another good suggestion that has come forward. So the morning session today has been all about litter, but later on in the next session we shall go through some local news, which we normally do. But today, because I was very, very upset walking up to the studio, you come straight away and you deal with all this rubbish outside, and it's very distressing, right? So we're going to make up, if somebody comes up with the best sign, then we're going to put that sign out on our screen here at the radio, that this week we want action against litter on Evington Road, right? So even send us your sign that you would like us to do so that we can put that out. If you do that, maybe that will qualify for one Strobella waffle pop, right? Did I say that right? I'm getting good at that jingle as well, you know. ZED, the morning jingle man, is here to keep you smiling, right? So City Warden Service, the gentleman, North Evington and Troon, his name is Jethro. I'm going to give him a call. Please, I'm asking my producer to call him right away and let's get him connected to us and see what we can do to deal with this. You know, we have issues with litter, fly posting, fly tipping, pan spitting. What is pan spitting? You know, somebody can define that for me better. Bins on the street. We have a lot of issues here. Dog fouling, dog control orders, and we have so many problems related to litter that there will be litter control notices the council are dishing out. It is a whole field of technical issues with litter. So this morning we've had to overstep the news and talk about litter, because that is being the real news this morning, listening to the grievances of the people who are clearing the litter. So they do this very early in the morning so that people like us, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we come on the streets and everything is clean, but we don't realize that there's other people out there who've had to do this good work for us. So I'm going to join you straight after this break. Don't go away and don't go and have a cup of tea. Wait. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We have brother Mohsin. He's watching us from all the way from Zambia. Jazakallah khair for that. He's sending me a message here on my phone to say that I'm watching you. That's what he's saying. So Jazakallah khair for that. And send us a comment. Tell us what the weather is like all the way there in Zambia. There's another message here. Remember, this little dropped last night was left by people that are fasting today. Do they not think? Of course, this is very important point that if you are fasting and you should be more mindful, and if litter reduces, then you know that you are following the tenets of fasting. You know, if you're fasting and you're still creating litter and you're being rowdy, you're being disrespectful, there's no mindfulness at all, then that is absolutely not acceptable. So I want more of you to connect with each other and send this message out to everybody that this is also very, very important for us during Ramadan. Remember, this little litter drop last night was by people who are fasting today. So these people who are littering the streets everywhere, you are absolutely doing no good to yourselves and you are spoiling it for the rest. So we're going to talk more about that throughout the program. And what else have we got on store for you today and for the rest of the week? So today we have at approximately 10:04 a.m. we'll have Mr. Rob Watson. He'll come and visit us. He's from the Community Media Association and he's going to talk to us about local community radio, and that includes us. Finally, we get some recognition on this planet by people in the know. Is that good news or not? We're happy about that. So we shall have a little banter with him. No doubt he's going to be totally zedified before he leaves the studio. We're going to have a good chat with him. So we got messages coming in. Of course, I don't like switch over from topic to topic, but here at the radio, we're always under pressure to do 12 months work in 1 month. So that's why we do this transition, as they call it, from one topic to another. But please do excuse me, we are now under control with everything. So soon as a person gets caught littering, they should have their hand amputated. That is a little bit extreme. This is not Saudi Arabia, this is Leicester. We don't do things like that here. Amputations. Just as I'm saying that, I can just feel a grin and a laugh and a smirk on that person's face right this minute, you know. We can't do that, I'm sorry. Radio will not at all promote any activity like that. That is totally bang out of order. So we need to have other ideas, please. This idea that I've just read out to you will not qualify at all of any kind of a Strobella waffle pop at all. So we're not going to do that. So please delete that message because it will be very, very offensive to somebody. So we have to follow some rules and regulations on that. So today I'm going to go through some local news, and then after that we're going to talk to you about some of the programs that are going to take place today. This week is absolutely following the theme MAD, M-A-D, make a difference. Throughout the month, throughout the year, make a difference. That's what we're going to do. That's our theme at the radio this year. And health and well-being is a theme that we are following this week. Every week we have a different theme. Now we're almost at 8 or 9 days of Ramadan now, and health and well-being is all very, very important. So today the format here is in the evening we have our community hours, which start at 5 p.m. right up to iftar time, and we are covering many community matters. So today brother Zafar Haq, he will come and visit us today, and he will talk to one of the doctors invited today on the program. Dr. Hina Trivedi will join him today, and she will also be talking about health matters during Ramadan. Of course, most of you was absolutely not very excited when we were talking about meat yesterday, because all the meat eaters were texting me and getting very upset. For a minute, I thought they'll be waiting for me outside the studio to sort me out, but luckily, they were well behaved, you know. They were very upset. Some were saying that I'm going to stand outside with a banner that do not ban the meat. We never said ban the meat. We said control your consumption during this month of Ramadan so that you do not think that iftar time is time to fill up the tank, as they say, right? Don't let your tank, your body rule over your head. Control your body with your head. Don't allow your body to control your head. So, this is very important for us all to realize. So, some local news. If we can have some local news today, then we can just go through that before we carry on with the rest of the show this morning. You are listening to Ramadan Special on EAVA 102.5 FM. So please do connect with us by telephone on 0116 or you can text me on 07 450 So don't forget, also on Friday we have some very interesting programs. Again, following the theme this week of your health is your wealth. It's health and well-being this week. So we have the wonderful Rosemary Conley. She is absolutely brilliant. I listened to her. If somebody can text in and let me know who is Rosemary Connolly. Who is Rosemary Connolly? Let us know. And we also have Z, if you know Z Fitness, Zenith. She came on the show a couple of years back. Yes? See? Your memory banks are coming back. And Miriam Pirelli, they're going to be talking to Mahmouda Duke on Friday. That is Friday, so it's a long way away yet, but 5 p.m. Leading Ladies, they're going to be talking about health and well-being. So you see, here's one for the BBC. We have beaten you to it this week. We are following health and well-being. We're going to step up the game, and we're going to see if everybody follows the pattern of these good things that we want to achieve this week. We want to sort out the litter issue. We're going to sort out your health. We're going to make everybody more attentive. You're going to laugh and you're going to then be happy afterwards. You're going to say, you know what? That's the best thing I did. Every time your body, you want to go on a diet, your body argues with you because even your body does not want change. Your body is not receptive to change. It wants those carbohydrates. It wants all those junky foods. But you have to fight it off and you have to say, no, I'm going to get over this. And of course, you can't do it on your own. You need a bit of help from everybody, right? So here on Ramadan Special on EVA 102.5 FM, we're going to learn a lot if you pay attention. If you pay attention, that'll be nice. So do connect with us here. And we can move on forward. Now we're going to talk about some local news. If you have any real news apart from the local news that I'm going to go through, then do let us know. And always it's good to hear from you as well. Sometimes we miss out and so on, right? So we will start off with some of these. Every time I read news, sometimes I get depressed. It's local news sometimes is not so exciting. We have a situation here with one of the fraudsters who has been jailed again this time for trying to scam 160 bank customers, right? This is very sad. 160 bank customers who have been committed fraud against, so this is absolutely a problem in our community where this is happening all of the time. But then on a cheerful note, you have comedy legend Sir Lenny Henry announces Leicester date as part of the UK tour. Of course, Lenny, that picture of yours is about 25 years old, Lenny. We need your up-to-date picture because the last picture I saw of Lenny, he had a beard on him and so on. So another story here. Interesting one. 18 months ago, I was unemployed and skinned. Going to the job center changed my life. Job center, that is a name from the past, isn't it? Job center. Do they still have job centers? There used to be one on Charles Street way back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Of course, they are still there. So do connect with them and you can find out some good, interesting jobs for you out there. Danny Drinkwater banned from roads after driving 125k car through a wall. Danny, it is not a football field. You don't drive a car through a wall at that speed. It's ridiculous. So, of course, there's a lot of news. Now, how many of you are connecting to the Leicester Mercury now, and how many of you are connecting to the Mercury on social media? There's a big drop now in people are attentive to news on newspaper, like we used to read, buy a paper and read, and having one delivered at your house. Uh, Everyone is now on the social media. So, of course, we are encouraging all our guests to come to the studio on their bicycles or even walk to the studio. This is Health Awareness Week, health and well being. So, all of you who are going to come here as guests, please come on your bicycles. And if husband and wife come on a tandem bike, how romantic. Isn't that a good idea? That there's a bike and a husband and wife are riding along together. And even if there's a little seat there at the back for the children, that's even better. So that is what would be nice to see. So if there's any tandem bikes out there, bring it outside the studio. Let's take a good picture to promote health and well-being. So one of my guests, he's kindly said, yes, I'll come on a bike, and we're going to take some pictures with him later on and encourage everybody to come on their bicycles. So if you were Saturday listening into the program, you saw that the riders here had their bicycle outside, and the riders of Sham were showing everybody about the health benefits of cycling. So this is very important. So all the brothers and sisters listening out there, make an effort and let's set an example to everybody, and so on. Of course, if you are going to London, or you're going on the train or in a car, it's acceptable, but otherwise it's not a bad idea if we can come on your bicycle here. Back to the news. Woman hits out at Greggs after breaking tooth on plastic cupcake ring. Plastic cupcake ring. That is groundbreaking news. Woman hits out at Greggs, right? Greggs, it's not their fault. It happened, so what can I do now? I need to research that one some more, right? What happened there? Cupcake ring. A cupcake ring, I thought normally was a paper ring, not a plastic one. So even I'm intrigued about that one. I shall finish the show and investigate that one personally myself, that particular story there, right? And we have another one here. Women 22 lifts dress and flashes magistrates during court case. I don't have a clue why anybody would do that. That one is beyond me. So this is a morning news review that we are doing here, and we are having to do it very, very attentively with all our censorship laws in place here, with my producer who is communicating with me through sign language. So whenever we do news review, we have to be very, very careful to edit and to say the right words at the right time, at the right speed. This is what we are trained to do here on live radio, 102.5 FM. So if you have some real news, I want you to call me on 0116 212 9324. Of course, the story from last week, I'm still intrigued to know what the outcome was when two men arrested in connection with a bank robbery at Santander. Why would they think to do that in daylight and have the whole robbery being WhatsApped? And while the robbery was being carried out, we at the radio here was getting that WhatsApp, and a friend told me that, please, Zed, get down there straight away and investigate this. You're a journalist. That's your job. That's what you have to do. How can I explain to him that if I leave my presenter's chair to do that job, then there's nobody going to be here and my producer is going to be on his own? So I'm sorry, I could not do that. Of course, if I had a budget here, I could have sent a reporter there immediately to investigate that, but it is quite scary when these things happen live in front of you and you are locked up in another shop in fear and just making a WhatsApp video to send it out all over Leicester while the robbery is being carried out. It does look different from when you're looking at the WhatsApp, but if you are actually there, your mind is in two minds. That do you do confrontation? Do you go pull a car in front of them? 100 things will go through your head. Like, I was thinking, if I was driving by, I'd pull my car over. Then I was thinking, well, which one car would I pull over? Because when they pull out again, they're going to smash into my car, and 100 things go through your head. And then I looked at my producer's car and I says, well, his car is bigger than mine. It's a four-wheel drive and it's more heavier. Maybe that's a car I should put out in front of that car. So we often get loads of messages coming in on the Facebook, and we get messages coming in. Otherwise, now one message has come in, which I'm going to also talk about today, because here Sharmeen Suleiman, inshallah, on my show, Morning Matters, tomorrow at 11 a.m. She will be discussing mental health. This week is also Mental Health Awareness Week. Of course, we talked about that yesterday to say health and well being and the food that we eat, how it can assist with mental health, Sharmeen. I'm sure that you know more about it than I do, because I'm just being driven mental here sometimes by my producer, and I will need to talk to you about that. The campaign topic is body image, and Sharmeen will be speaking to Myra Khan, who is a champion of mental health awareness here in Leicester and an award winning counselor. Tune in tomorrow. I shall tune in for sure. Definitely, I shall tune in to that particular topic. And now, if we connect all these different people who are specialists in that field, they can have a very good banter for all of us to listen to. Maybe we can arrange that. If we get Myra Khan, Sharmeen, Dr. Salim Khan, Dr. Shahid Latif, we've got a very good, strong team here with the mental health here, for sure. We can do something good together, can't we? So let's get this team together. 4 names I've mentioned there: Sharmeen, Myra Khan, Dr. Salim Khan, and Dr. Shahid Latif. 4 of them. As I speak, my producer writes their names down and he starts connecting with them in some respects, and we can all have a real good show together. So Imtiaz, Jazakallah khair, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam to you also. So you are listening to ZED on Ramadan special EAVA 102.5 FM. Very, very pleased that a lot of you are very attentive to the litter issues on Evington Road, and I'd like to really keep pressing more on that so that we can connect with everybody on this particular issue. So please, please be more attentive with the litter. If you're fasting or you're not fasting, let's set the bar, let's set the example, because it's the good actions that we do, brothers and sisters. That's what it's all about. It's not what we speak, but it's our good actions that follow afterwards. So when we are talking about these things, let's put the good thoughts that we have in this month of Ramadan into action so we can all benefit. That's what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Let's all benefit. If we see somebody who's creating litter, don't go there and beat them up, please. And don't amputate their hands, as one listener had suggested. We have to tell them, brother, please use the bin provided, and see how we go on. So I want you all to forward these good messages and also share and like and do that on your social media so we can bring more awareness of litter. This week is all connected to good health, well-being, and mental awareness is all part of your good health. So sometimes the doctor yesterday had identified that sometimes when we are in that mood of stressfulness, mental health, all sorts of problems connected with the foods that we consume also are prevalent. So sometimes when you are in a depressive or a mental state of mind, you may choose not to eat food, or you will eat the wrong food, or you will go and binge and you will have junk food, and this is what he was talking about yesterday. So sometimes the body gets addicted to the wrong vices. So please, please follow the rules, and if you do that, then you will be an asset. Of course, talking about assets, we are back down to a message that I received earlier on about our good local companies here who are very, very participant in telling us about assets and liabilities of a different kind. So we're going to get back onto them. another time when they join us in the studio to discuss about the assets and the liabilities. But we at 10 o'clock, after the 10 o'clock break, certainly will be joined by one of the assets in the community. Actually, that show takes place on Saturday, but every one of us can be an asset. So my friend Rob Watson, he will join us after the 10 o'clock break. Don't go away and have a cup of tea. We'll be back shortly after that particular break. So my producer, he starts reminding me at 4 minutes 33 seconds that there will be a break. So all presenters here have to be taught, trained, programmed so that they adhere to the correct time. So you are listening to ZED on Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. And if you can say that jingle better than me, then is the producer going to offer them a voucher? Yes, that is. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to persuade him to offer you a voucher. Yes, he says yes. We've got a resounding yes from him. Yes, he'll do that. Now, the message saying that where can I purchase the majestic Quran here on my text? Yes, you can come here to the studio on 207 Evington Road, or you can even call us and we can assist you with that. 0116 212 9324. So any proceeds from that sale of the majestic Quran will go to our charity, a local nominated charity here. And you can text us on 07450 925 084. So that is very pleased to hear that message, that the majestic Quran, I'd really like comments from the people who have already bought this majestic Quran and talk to us about what their understanding is of the way this majestic Quran has been written. That it's very good to have a feedback. Of course, there are numerous copies out there, but it is claimed that this one here, translated by Dr. Musharraf Hussain, has been well authorized by the Al-Azhar University in Cairo, a top learning institute, and they have given it a thumbs up. So do give us your comments on this, the majestic Quran, what you think about this. And we've gone off the news and we've jumped to this particular topic only purely because one of the listeners had texted in a message. So do come into the studio and purchase this and tell us, give us your feedback on it, please. It is wonderful to share the feedback with the rest of the people listening in Leicester. Jazakallah khair for that. So we move on to the news. 2 men arrested over fire on industrial estate in Frog Island in Leicester. That is very sad to hear. These fires can cause absolute havoc all over. So please give us more details on that particular story and we can talk more about that. So it's another message here. I took £5 yesterday. Traders hit out over 3.9 million cycle lane scheme roadworks. Of course, we need to deal with this one. So is this one of the bullet points that I add when I have my much awaited talk with the city mayor? Is it a talk? Is it an interview? Or am I going to be drilling him? This is a decision that you, the listeners, are going to make. If you have any questions for the city mayor, then you better send them over to me, right? Because I'll add your question to the 101 I have already here on my list. So the city mayor will join us next week here on Ramadan special EAVA 102.5 FM. So he is going to come one day next week. Due to various reasons, I am not allowed to disclose exactly right now what time and what day is going to come. But I'm going to keep you posted because, these things, they go through a process, right? So right now, what you can do is send me your questions that you would like to ask him. And in an hour, I can do only so much, and I shall do my best. You can even email me on info@ramadan.fm. Info, INFO, at Ramadan, RAMADAN.FM. So please do that. Send us a message, and we will revert to that. 10 brilliant events at city's new summer of festivals. So that is going to be very pleasing to hear. Festivals are good, brings all the community together. There are various festivals. The one that comes to mind each year is a Caribbean festival that takes place every August in Leicester. So before, and now we have other festivals as well. We'll give you a list of them all, and we can be all ready for them. So we're going to be joining you after the break very shortly. And the Caribbean Festival is 2018. That was in what date was that? The date of Caribbean Festival last year was. Does the date fluctuate each year? Yes, it does. It's only a few days here or there. The Caribbean Festival takes place. I think this year, the date, if anyone knows exact date, do let me know so I can share that with everybody. I don't want to give you the wrong dates because we don't have the absolute correct date for that festival this year. The Riverside Festival is documented June 1 to Sunday, June the 2nd. That's the Riverside Festival. So this is again very close. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. We are back here on Ramadan special EVA FM 102.5 FM. I have in the studio today a very learned guest appearance by Mr. Rob Watson here from the CMA. Of course, Rob, welcome to Radio Ramadan.
Welcome, Zed. How are you?
I'm fine this morning. How are you, Rob, this morning?
Yeah,
it's good. Lovely, wonderful day.
Yeah, it was very nice to cycle up here. So a bit uphill, but it was good. Yeah.
Well, Rob, let me start off our radio this morning. Our talk today is to inform you that here we have a rule here. You know, we have this tape measure here. This is the ZED tape measure. This is a 32 millimeter rule that when you come here to the studio, you have to be 32 millimeters away from that microphone.
Yes, so I usually do the fingers.
You do the finger.
Yeah.
So Rob is going by the finger. We've sort of stepped up the game here by using this wonderful tape measure that was donated to us in the studio. So this is what we tell everybody who comes. So Rob, this morning I was really delighted that you are following our theme this week of health and awareness and well-being, that you came on your bike this morning. You know, what a wonderful day to cycle after the rain we had last week.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It just picks your mood up, doesn't it? You know, a bit of sunshine and, you know, kind of a bit of, you can relax a little bit more. You're not wearing heavy clothes and carrying things around, so it's nice to be able to a bit of freedom. I'm more of a spring and a summer person, not really into the winter.
Of course, and this is the month of Ramadan, so fitness, well-being, what we eat is what we are, is what it's all about, Rob.
Yeah.
And to try to explain to people and join with this well-being. This is after Ramadan, 30 days of finish, and then the rest of the year we have to follow suit.
Yeah.
And be good. So are you fasting today, Rob?
No, I don't fast.
You don't fast?
I don't fast, yeah. But you know, it's I suppose one of the things that's really, you know, you live in Leicester, you start to learn about other cultures and other communities, and sitting around, you know, it's kind of almost one of the things we can learn from each other is when you break your fast. And you know, there's lots of places around that are catering for people who are fasting in the daytime, and then when they break the fast, you sit together as a family or as a group of friends, and you have a bite to eat, and you talk about what your day was about. And so it's that got that sense of kind of bringing people together, I think, which is really, really good.
The first time, the correct name that we call is iftar, IFTAR, the iftar time, and then that is when you break your fast, and in the morning when you are sort of going to eat is called sahur or sehri, SEHRI. So these are the two periods. You eat in the mornings and then you're fasting the day. And of course, another time I'm going to go through all the health benefits, how the body rejuvenates, and all the benefits spiritually, mentally, physically that you will experience when you're fasting.
Yeah.
And a lot of things.
Well, there's a lot of evidence now that intermittent fasting, even on a regular basis, is good for you because it helps to...
They call it the Thursday fast.
Yeah.
And it's a repair for the body.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, this is your first time, isn't it, with us here on Ramadan Special, EAVA?
Is.
And you, with a background with CMA, Community Media Association, if you like to just brief our listeners out there who don't know about the CMA, what is the CMA all about? What do they do? What do they stand for?
Well, the CMA is a national members-based organisation which represents people who are committed to and produce community media like this. So it's people who are volunteers, people who do it for the social benefit of their communities, and people who do it in you know, they're not financed by big industry and they're independent. So it's an opportunity for people to, what the CMA does is we kind of facilitate a conference, and we have online forums, and we send information out to members, and we do consultations for things like, you know, kind of what's the government thinking about the next legislation that'll come in to look at radio, for example. So we've got a new tier of digital broadcasting potentially coming in very soon, DAB. And it could be that Leicester, for example, could have 20 to 30 new radio stations on air. But what kind of legislation do we need to have in place to facilitate communities to be able to engage with that? What kind of funding support do we need? What kind of training? What kind of skills? So there's a lot of educating people about what the role of community radio and community media is. Because I think one of the things that's different, and you're a really great example of this, is that there's that kind of passion and commitment, but you're not, this isn't your living. This isn't, you're not trying to get promotion in a company through this. You're doing this because you want to put something back about a topic that you care about and that you think is important, and that the people in your neighborhood and your communities think's important. So it's kind of, how do we promote that, and how do we develop that, and how do we ensure that a broad range of people have got access to creating their own media? Because I think one of the big problems at the moment really is that we have a kind of media where people really just talk at people, and what what community media does, community radio does, is it facilitates people to talk with people. So it's more of a two-way conversation. So you can come in, you're invited. You're sitting here this morning saying, come into the studio, cycle up, walk up, come into the studio. Come and talk, take part. That's what we want to encourage. And when was the last time you listened to a commercial station or the BBC really do that kind of, come in and, had a phrase really where, it's kind of bring your pets, bring your children. They can take part in this as well. So it's got that really kind of direct feel about why it's important, and it fosters and helps to support and create that sense of community that we have around us. And radio is really important for that, because it's a good way to get your ideas going and to have a conversation and to get deep into some topics and to kind of pick things out, pick things apart, and to share in a way that once you get people talking and listening to each other, then we improve our understanding, I suppose.
Of course, one of the arguments is that in every city we have so many different radios, for sure. We have, every community literally has its own radio station. And then what happens is that that particular station is channeling only to a sector of the community, whereas we are talking about diversity, which is a diversion in the end. If we have all our separate stations, it leads to not diversity but diversion.
Yeah.
And we lose focus. We are not then exercising the cohesive behavior that we need to implement between each other.
Yeah. And I think you can run these things on the basis of everybody has their niche, and that can be really important for that group of people. But what you do when you're broadcasting is you're doing more than just talking to the people that you might know on your social media account. You're doing more than just talking to people who you see on the street. You're talking to everybody. So you've got a responsibility, because everybody can pick up what you're saying when you're on the FM or the AM frequencies. The problem and the challenge is that actually that's quite limited. So the number of people who can get onto FM and AM is very, very small, and it has to be regulated by the government. It's very cheap to run. It's got this really good kind of universal coverage, so you can cover this city of Leicester relatively cheaply. But we're moving from a kind of media which is defined by scarcity to one where it's defined by plenty. So online, now, and you guys do this, you're streaming on Twitter and Facebook and wherever else, it's kind of, as well as being broadcast. So people can listen to what we're talking about around the world, and people can pick things that they're interested in based, like I listen to a lot of podcasts now. I put the radio on less and less, and I listen to podcasts because they're about things that I kind of I'm interested in. And so you kind of got this kind of choice which you've not had before. So that means that you have to think more carefully about what is it that you talk about when you're doing a radio program now, and you talk about things that are, I think we've got this kind of the big commercial kind of radio stations. They are quite generic and they follow kind of patterns of they do very similar things. So although it feels like we've got lots of choice, when you're actually listening to them, there's not that much choice in terms of the style and the content. And what community radio does and gives us is the ability to talk about the things that we're interested in and talk about the things that are of concern to us in a way that makes sense to us and our community while following the rules. And we can do that in a way which doesn't have to, if you like, pander to somebody else's idea of what it's about. We define it ourselves. It's quite democratic in that way.
Yeah, very much like we're trying to do with the litter this morning, right? Is a community issue. So we get the whole community involved and get them to be interactive, give them ownership. And this is one of the formulas we work on here at Radio Ramadan, is that we like to give ownership to the people out there. It's their community. It's not mine. It's not yours. It's ours.
Yeah.
And if we can work together as a team, we can do a lot of good development. And we are here for 30 days trying to do 12 months work in that time, you know. And sustainability is also an issue. If we were to do a radio here for 12 months, we would have issues of sustainability because you could not mobilize volunteers. Some of our volunteers, they're leaving their works, they're spending time preparing their programs. One cough is allowed, Rob. You're okay with that?
It always happens. It's like,
yeah,
I'm the biggest cougher going.
yeah. So if any of the listeners out there, if you're listening, you've got a question for Rob from the Community Media Association, do give me a call on 0116 212 9324, or you can text us your message on 07450 925084. Of course, we will get Rob later on to do the Ramadan special EAVA 102.5 FM jingle before he leaves. So Ahmed has joined us. Welcome this morning to the show, Ahmed. So we're talking about interactive community relations with each other, and if we were doing this 12 months a year, to sustain it with quality programming and quality presenters would not be so easy. It'd be very difficult.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I kind of have, you hear that phrase, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing. How would you finish that sentence? Most people would say, do it well. And actually, with community media, community radio, I've always worked on the basis of if something's worth doing, it's worth doing badly. And everybody goes, what do you mean doing it badly? And then you say, well, because you get better at it. You can learn. If you don't get better, then we'll find you something else to do, like make the tea or something like that. But you've got to start somewhere. And so the idea of kind of quality, whose quality are we talking about? Because what can happen is you can impose a sense of quality about radio and professionalism and things like that, which means that ordinary people don't get access and ordinary people don't feel as if they can be part of something. So the quality issue is, yes, accountable, I think, and responsible. They're better terms to use so that, we know who you are, we know where you're based, we know what kind of codes and standards that you work towards. That you're regulated. You've got you kind of got an open and transparent process for people to hold you to account, and you're happy with that. It's a supportive process. Sometimes what you can do is you can use issues like quality and professionalism to exclude people. And what community media is about is being inclusive and diverse, because what happens is you get people who would never think of going into a professional radio studio and kind of trying to get in there because they don't fit in, but they come to a community radio station and they feel as if they belong because the pressure isn't on them in the same way. And then what you hope happens is that they share something which is their gift, if you like, that their passion comes out. So that it might be that they're into music or poetry or talking about community projects or things that matter to them in their locality.
Well, Rob, you are now tempting me to take our radio for a day or two to the city centre.
Well, that'd be a challenge.
So we can engage with everybody there at the High Cross and talk to them about Ramadan.fm and engage with them to that level that you are talking to. But here the challenges are to engage not only with the Muslim community on Evington Road, but engaging with 7.8 billion people on this planet. This is the vision and the way forward with all this digital internet that is on stream now. How will that affect all the things you are talking about?
Well, I think we could leave it to the marketplace alone, and we could leave it to the people who are just out to exploit us. So I know a lot of the social media companies, they offer us something for free. They offer us free access to tools online and services online, and we can build our social networks. But there's a side to it as well, which is based on we have to give something to them, which is our private information. And they exploit that, and they design apps and programs, and to kind of keep us addicted. It is like a kind of, it hits the same kind of buttons inside us as gambling does. We're waiting for that next notification. We're waiting for that next angry message, that kind of stuff. And we're driven by, this is what the social, and they're not accountable. Who holds Facebook or Google or Twitter to account for their algorithms, to how they choose what goes into your newsfeed?
Well, Rob, I assure you, we at Radio Ramadan FM have tried but not succeeded.
Yeah.
Our producer there is trying to call Mark Zuckerberg, if I've said his name right, and he's had no success because he won't pick the phone up.
Well, quite, but people can call you directly.
Yeah,
and
yes, they can call me. I give them a number 0116-212-9324.
Yeah, and that's the difference, because our big social media and tech companies aren't locally accountable to us. So they offer us something which is like really useful. It's just incredibly useful to be able to do, share photos and post media online and stream things, and kind of all these things are great. But there's something which is missing, and that's, if you like, accountability. And the reason it's important is because what we learn and share and become by through our diversity, and learning about our diversity and the different ways that we think and the different ways that we do things, actually we become better problem solvers, and we become better informed, and we become more able to deal with the problems of the world, because we can see things from different perspectives.
So we bring it back again to say that local radio, community media association all work together, and we here not to make a difference to someone in Australia for their litter problems, but make a difference to simple matter of the litter we were talking about this morning for the city of Leicester.
Did you see the news story the other day? There was a guy who did the deepest dive in the ocean, 7 kilometres down. And
7 miles down.
And what did they find on the bottom of the ocean?
First of all, Rob, I'm just trying to picture in my head 7 mile or 7 kilometre down the ocean.
Yeah.
And to go down there and to find
sweet wrappers and plastic
wrappers.
So this is a global problem. So if somebody has an innovative, interesting way of engaging their community in Australia or Spain or South America about how to keep things clean and tidy, then and if we can learn from each other. I was fortunate enough to go to Cambodia last year, and they have a massive problem with plastic littering. There just isn't the culture of recycling and picking things up because it's incredibly cheap. So there's a lot of plastic litter about, and it's just a small step. And a friend of mine, Gerhardt, he has this thing when he goes into this supermarket. He's trying to persuade Sainsbury's to do this. And he's done this openly on Twitter, and he says, rather than saying, "Do you want a bag?" you say, "Have you brought a bag?" And the response was that, that might upset some of our customers because they'll feel pressured. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, just that simple switch from saying, do you want to have you brought? It doesn't take any more to say it, but it implies that you should have your bag with you, your reusable shopping bag, so that you're not creating so much plastic waste and it doesn't get into the oceans then. So that little thing that we do locally in our little supermarket over the road from where we are has these big effects internationally as well. And we've got to kind of work with both.
See, this is the power of community media.
The compostable carrier bag.
The compostable carrier bag, I show it to you all here. This is compostable, and when I'm not on radio, they call me the bag man, because I know about bags. And there you are. My producers ordered me now to hold this up to show everybody. The compostable bag.
But these have been around for a while. But why is it that we're not, for example, when I go to Leicester Market, It's the blue plastic bags, not the compostable bags. I've been to supermarkets and markets in other countries, and they're using the compostable bags. And it's like, what is it that means that somebody, how do you get into this? And I think it's, as we start to talk about it and explain and discuss these kind of issues on radio programs like this, then people will start to, people will go, oh, right, okay, so that's it. I understand that now. What happens is we kind of just expect people to change without really giving them the explanation and the reason for changing behaviour.
We talked about this earlier on, that people, the human body, the mind is not so much receptive to change. Change only happens in monetary terms.
You're more cynical than I am.
It's very quick. When you tell somebody, look, if you do it like this, you're going to get in your pocket 100 more pounds than you're doing it now, they'll do it for the sake of the 100 pounds. But when you tell them that, look, if you're going to stop eating these foods and then you're going to benefit like this, then they're fighting mind over body.
And this is where government regulation really does need to come in, because sometimes you can't bring about that large-scale change without having a change in the law and a change in regulation and things like that. But then again, every time you go into a supermarket and you pick something up and it's in a plastic box or a plastic package, the only message that you'll get, the only way that we'll get that message back to the supermarkets to stop using this excessive amount of packaging is to stop buying their stuff in the packaging. And it's kind of, and where do we talk about these things?
When on community media, radio, local station, you talk about it on Ramadan special, EAVA FM 102.5 FM. That's where you talk about it, right? It's very much so for benefiting the community. So everything we do here on this radio, we have a scheme here which is called What After Radio, because we are only here 30 days. What after radio? What happens the 11 months? So the scheme that we operate to is that every program, as many programs as possible, will carry on a theme after the radio. If you are following me, Rob. This is what we do here, so that the 11 months are spent carrying on the good initiative that you've started here on the radio. But then when we come back the following year, we've built a stronger foundation, a stronger platform. You've got something to build on for a better community and get younger people involved. So all the young people that are listening in should join. The Community Media Association is here to support all the local radio stations throughout the country, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And what is the fee to join that association? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, about £70. It's not a lot of money.
£70 per annum, yeah.
Yeah.
And there must be at least 1,000 plus radio stations on FM frequency.
Yeah, there's about 280 community radio stations, and then there's probably one of the things that's cropped up recently is a lot more online stations. So that's something that's really growing. People who don't want to be broadcasting on AM or FM, but who are actually taking up
internet radio.
Internet radio, yeah.
Are they regulated by Ofcom?
Not in the same way, because, and this is one of the things the government's talking about at the moment, and we want to do a little bit of consultation on, is there's the online harms white paper which the government's consulting about, which is kind of how do we hold social media companies and tech companies to account for the what do they do in terms of supporting fake news or undesirable kind of social media accounts, that kind of stuff. So there's a kind of, would that affect online radio stations to be regulated in a similar way? So it's a kind of challenge to think about how we think about responsibility.
Well, Rob, time is flying. We sat here chatting with each other for 25 minutes and 50 seconds, and time has just flown by. So no doubt we will have more discussion on this particular matter throughout the 30 days and engage some more with doing more development work within radio and the community. So the two go hand in hand. And during the month of Ramadan, I'll be spending some time now with Rob, 5 minutes, to talk about the merits of Ramadan. and fasting and so on. Do a bit of Q&A with him. And then I will join everybody tomorrow, Rob, if you'd like to say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we'll be back on air tomorrow at 10 past 9 tomorrow. Jazakallah khair for your time today. Thank you.